Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Skyrim modding showcase with me, Meoni from Cast. Today we're looking at some of the most impractical gear for your character you can actually get through mods on Skyrim, including an absolute ton of mods from various creators which has been compiled and integrated into Skyrim in the form of a castle, this castle in particular. And this is the ANK castle mod, made by the now famous Arrow in the Knee mod team. You've probably not heard of them, but they are pretty cool.
What can I do?
Many Chinese and Korean mods are in this pack, and it contains both armor and weapons.
Yes.
And also this entire building, which they say will have its own quest line eventually. So here we go. You walk in here and there's some beautiful music, which I was entranced with, to be honest, when I was recording this. Absolutely brilliant. Cool addition. The whole place is amazing, absolutely amazing. Over here to the left they've got like some armor on stands. This is just an example of what we've got in this pack. I will be honest here, there are some really quite risky texture packs, rather models, and I can't really completely agree with all of them. But basically there's two vendors which you can come to, and this one sells armor, and oh my god, there are an absolute ton of armor sets. I'm going to try and show you them all eventually in this video, keep tuned for that. But obviously, as you can see, this all costs gold, quite a lot of gold actually, so you're going to need a lot of gold. I cheated and spawned in a load of gold. Over here there's an armor woman who sells armor, weapons rather. I've actually got them all. For the purposes of this video, I've spent my hard-earned cheating cash.
Someone stole your sweet roll.
Yes, they did steal my sweet roll, and you look awesome. So there are gates throughout here that take you to into Skyrim on top of a mountain. We'll come back to that in a bit. It's like a little living area here. Not too amazing, but it is still an incredible place. Some display cases here with some items. It's all a work in progress. This is the third update of the Arrow in the Knee team's castle, ANK castle mod, and it features basically this entire building, and they're updating it all the time. To actually get this mod to work, you need to download 3 files. The first one's data, and the other 2 are textures 1 and textures 2. The way to do this is inside the data folder, or the info folder actually, thinking about it now, which you download. There'll be a readme, and you basically follow that. It's designed so 6-year-olds could follow it. The link will be in the description of where you can download this. It will be on the Lovers Lab forums. Obviously these mods aren't going to be featured anywhere else because of the copyright nature involved and possible infringement. So get it while you can, but there are some pretty cool things. And there are some pretty cool things. Also around this entire building, it's a really nice, quite awesome sort of hub. Eventually it'll be a quest hub, but it's got trainers, various trainers. I'll show you a bit later. There's some magic trainers, but there's like alchemy and stuff like that. So they've tried to make a place where you can just basically live and get everything you need, anything you will ever need. In here, this guy actually sells some rather interesting stuff. He sells some hard to get alchemical reagents, such as bees and such, as you can see. So they've really added a bit of a god mode area here to the game, so you're not faffing around all the time and you have access to a load of cool things. Yes, and apparently there's a woman behind here, if I can figure out how to get there, who's a bard, and there are lots of little things that are obviously going to be stories eventually. Incredible sized place. I'm just talking to this woman here, trying to figure out who she is. She's like, I'm a bard, and then starts my bard quest for Solitude, which on this character I haven't done. But yeah, that's that. And yes, so we'll go back to the main chamber now, and I'll show you some more good stuff. There are essentially 3 rooms, but there are doors to other places which aren't currently available. They're going to be adding a trials room or something eventually, probably in there. And there's another door down here, which I presume will be like a quest place. I'm not particularly sure where they're going with this. But yeah, it's all English, everything's translated. There's a lot of stuff in this pack that you will not find easily accessible from anywhere else. It saves you a lot of hassle downloading the mods individually, because A, it's updated all the time, and B, there's some really cool stuff. There's a mage stone there. So this is a sort of the magic place I was talking about, with a massive arcane enchanter in the middle there, which is glowing for some reason. Yeah. And over here, it's a really cool looking guy, well, a woman actually, who will sell reagents, magical reagents, such as soul gems and things, but the rare ones like the black soul gems, which are harder to get in the game, are accessible here. And obviously there's a training for each particular field of magic. So it's really nice to have all these things accessible and easy to obviously come here and just have everything on a plate for you. Upstairs there are even more trainers and what appears to be like what's going to be the start of the eventual questing to do with one bloke. I'll show you that in a second. But it does look really cool. There's obviously been some retexture work on the big sort of sigil stone type thing in the center there. These guys are all like conjuration masters who will teach you stuff, and you can purchase things which you normally would elsewhere in Skyrim, and some stuff that you can't elsewhere in Skyrim, or rarer. So we've got an alteration master, destruction master, illusion master, and all that jazz. It just looks generally really polished. That's the thing I've got from this. It's definitely combining a lot of elements that I wanted from a lot of mods, like a whole new quest zone, a really cool building. It covers all those areas, so they've done a massively good job here, and apparently they're quite a huge team and are quite prominent, so a lot of modders have allowed their mods to be incorporated in and included in this mod pack. This guy starts his quest. No voice acting has been done for these pieces of dialogue yet. They're quite funny though, so I've put subtitles on so you can read that in your own leisure. But here we are. So this is the first piece of armour, and I'll be going through the rest of them. They're incredible. There are some risky stuff with quite exposed cleavage and stuff, but I'm going to leave you with the music of Teknoaxe, and I will see you on the other side. Enjoy this. It's going to be quite a long video, this, but I thought I'd show off everything you can get in here. I didn't want to leave anything out, so enjoy. thank you for watching. Be sure to check out all the downloads in the description below, and I will see you next time for another Skyrim mod showcase with me, Meoni. Goodbye.